Welcome to BioRules. Today we are going to be talking about reproduction in plants. Specifically, we are going to start taking a look on how is it possible for sexual reproduction to happen. So, for us to see how sexual reproduction happens, first you have to see how asexual reproduction happens, and this is the simplest way of reproduction. Basically, eukaryotes, the typical animal, plants, fungi, they have a certain number of chromosomes. For example, in this cell here, they have 4 chromosomes, one green, one purple, one yellow, and one salmon. This cell, when it decides to be reproducing, it needs to make 2 cells. But for that, first is going to be getting those 4 chromosomes and is going to be duplicating each one of them, and in the end they will be separating each one of those that were duplicated, and the 2 daughter cells end up with 4 chromosomes each. This is the typical simple division. It's called mitosis. It's the one that's used for tissues to grow, for organs to grow, but also for asexual reproduction. A plant reproduce like this can make a clone of itself, make one cell and then grow into many more cells, or an animal, any organism that reproduce by mitosis could do asexual reproduction as well. Very common in plants, not very common in animals. But now how sexual reproduction happens? Sexual reproduction is a little bit more tricky, because if an organism has 4 chromosomes like this one, if they make a cell to put together those 4 chromosomes with 4 chromosomes of another parent, they will end up having a baby that will have 8 chromosomes. And then grandbabies with 16, and then grandbabies with 32, and that's not good. So when you have sexual reproduction, you want your babies, your kids, to have the same number of chromosomes that you have. So in this case, in preparation for sexual reproduction, the organisms have to divide the number of chromosomes in the reproductive cell, in the gamete, by half. This is a reductional division, which is called meiosis. So they multiply the chromosomes back as well, but in the end they are going to be dividing the number of chromosomes that are there in half. So the original parent here, this one had 4 chromosomes. These ones, each one of them is going to be having 2 chromosomes. This is the process called meiosis. Now, an organism that have undergone meiosis, made a gamete like a sperm cell or an egg, with 2 chromosomes now, half of what the parents had, can put together those with another cell from another parent that also now have 2 chromosomes after meiosis. So in the process called fecundation, these 2 will be put together and they will make a zygote. They will make one cell that's fertilized and now have 4 chromosomes like the original parents had. So now the babies have the same number of chromosomes as the parents. Let's put this all together to see it all in one movement. Okay? We have here a cell that's undergoing meiosis and is making cells with half the number of chromosomes. So the original parent, this guy, had 4, and now each of the babies, these ones here, they are going to be having half the number of chromosomes. So what will happen here is meiosis. So that one of these gametes, for example, make a sperm cell and is going to be getting another gamete, for example, an egg cell, from another parent. And now we have gametes with 2 and 2 chromosomes. By the process of fecundation, they are put together, they make a zygote that has 4 chromosomes, the same number as the original parents. You see, you have 4 here, you have now 4 there. To illustrate that in humans, humans have 46 chromosomes when we are an adult, when we are a grown-up, when we are even when we are a baby, we have 46 chromosomes. The father have 46, the mother have 46. If each of them made gametes by simple division, by mitosis, they would put 46 to 46, would make a baby that would be 92. That doesn't work. So in this case, this male will do meiosis and you divide the number of chromosomes by half in the sperm cell. So there it is. And then the female will also do meiosis and you divide the number of chromosomes in the egg by half. Now it's 23. By the process of fecundation, 23 is put together with 23 and they make a zygote that's 46. This zygote now will undergo simple division and is going to be making more and more and more cell, and is going to be ending up making a new human being, also with cells containing 46 chromosomes. By the way, the number of chromosomes that we find in the gametes may be different in different species. So to simplify it, usually we use this letter N to represent the number of chromosomes in a cell. If it's N, it's the number of chromosomes that's found typically in the gamete of the cell. So in the sperm cell, we say that they have N chromosomes in humans. In the egg cell, they have N chromosomes in humans. So the adult humans, the father and the mother, they are going to be having 2N chromosomes in their cells. The zygote over there, after they have been put together, they also have 2N chromosomes, and the new person that's been formed here will also have 2N chromosomes. So in the case of human beings, N equals 23, which is the number of chromosomes that we find in a gamete cell. And 46, the number of chromosomes that we find in an adult cell, then it's going to be called 2N. Okay? There's another nomenclature, N, 2N. This may be a little bit confusing. You may hear the name haploid as a reference to a cell that contains N chromosomes. So the number of chromosomes that you're going to be finding in the gamete. Okay? So in humans, this is going to be 23 chromosomes. And 2N is also called diploid. So in humans, a diploid cell, our typical cell, will have 46 chromosomes. So we are going to be using from now on haploid and diploid to represent N and 2N, depending if you have the number of chromosomes that's doubled in an adult cell, for example, in humans that's 46, or if you have a cell with only half the number of chromosomes that you typically have in an adult. Just to illustrate to you why we are talking about N and 2N, look at the number of chromosomes that humans have, 46. But the macaca mulata, it's a monkey, have 42 chromosomes in the adult cell. Dogs have 78, cats have 38, mouse 40, frogs 26, fruit flies have 8, a flatworm 16, and the same goes for plants. Corn will have 20 chromosomes in the adult, in the diploid number. Potatoes will have 48, but the green algae have 20. Okay, the same for fungus, the same for other organs. So the number of chromosomes can vary. So instead of talking about 46, 23, 20, 78, we are going to be talking about haploid or diploid cell. Haploid with N chromosomes and diploid with 2N chromosomes. In humans, haploid with 23 chromosomes and diploid with 46 chromosomes. Okay? And now it's time to exercise. If you use your cell phone to read this QR code, it will open a website with the quiz with a few questions for you. You can also type that link itempool/dafpat/c/that code down there, so you can open this few exercise. Have fun.